guys, what's up? It's Drippy Lex, aka I am Lexi Jade, aka Lex, aka Alexis, and I'm back with another video. And today my video is going to be on my Valentine's Day weekend. It's been very chaotic, but overall an amazing trip. Let's start the intro. This trip has felt so long, and there's been like so many chaotic portions and toxic portions, but overall it's been an amazing trip and I'm so glad that I made the trip. There is a guy sort of involved, but not really. The beginning of this trip was me and my girls, my sister and my best friend. We wanted to have a girls weekend for Valentine's Day because we're all single and we just wanted to have our own little getaway thing, just for like just treating ourselves. But what ended up happening was neither of them could come. So like we kept saying, okay, we're gonna do it. And then when it actually came, like I think 2 weeks ago, we were like, okay, are we gonna book this or what? And my friend Seven was like, oh, I have exams, I can't do it. Dej was like, I'm on a diet or something, I can't do it. But me, I have zero obligations. And even with my obligations, such as my dog, I don't really care. So I ended up leaving anyway. My sister's watching my dog, and Seven took me to the airport, so I ended up going anyway by myself. I will say I'll get to the guy later, okay? So I'm staying here in Orlando. I'm here now actually. It's called B Resort. I will say it's an amazing, I love the resort overall. It's right by Disney Springs, which everything I'm just gonna expand on later. But when I got here, okay, let me just start and say that I may or may not be arrested for identity theft or fraud. I don't know. So what ended up happening was I booked my room and my rental car through Priceline. And with Priceline, with the car, let's start with the car, I paid extra for being underage. So what I did not realize was underage is between 20 and 24, not just like under 21. I'm 19 at the moment. So I got here and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be the best trip ever. I took the Uber. I was gonna get a car from the airport, but for underage driving, they charge hella. So I ended up just doing through Priceline, and so I Ubered about $40 to the place just to get there, and they'd be like, oh, we're closed today, so you have to get the fucking car from this place. So I Ubered there. My Uber was he was really nice. So he hooked me up, of course, no charge, took me to the next place. Obviously I tipped him pretty well, just for me to get there, and they'd be like, everything was going smoothly. I paid the deposit, they're about to hand me the keys to a Chrysler 300, and he's like, oh, something went wrong. I don't know what's going wrong. Let me call someone, okay? Oh, you have to be how old? How old are you? 19. Okay, and there's nothing we can do. And none of the places, none of the car rentals do it. Okay. I'm like, so he tells me, you can't get the car because we don't rent anyone under 20. I'm like, okay. I literally paid extra. Mind you, this is already taken out of my bank account. I paid extra so I could get this car being underage. But underage doesn't count anyone under 20. What is underage? Under 25? I thought 21 and under was underage. But whatever. He's like, you don't have anyone here. I traveled alone, okay? I traveled alone. He's like, you don't have anyone down here? I'm like, no. He said, there's nothing. No one you have, nothing you can do. I pull out my fake ID, okay? Because I did have fake ID on me. The thing about my fake ID, though, is it's not me. My friend gave it to me, and it's like her sister's old fake ID. And I'm like, okay, I have this, okay? He's like, okay, let me see what I can do. Long story short, it didn't work. And I had to come back with someone who was at least 20 years old. So lucky for me, I knew someone who was about an hour out, who I was like, I wanted to see him anyway because we're really good friends. I met him about a year ago. We have some, some chemistry. And and I was already planning on seeing him while I was down here. Again, this was a solo Valentine's Day trip, but like I knew someone who was in the state, so I'm like, okay, I want to see him at least once. He's 20 years old, so I call him or I text him. I'm like, hey, are you busy? And he's like, I'm at practice or football practice, whatever. I don't know what they're practicing for, but let me stop. Okay. Basically, he's busy that day. Like, fuck him, whatever, he's busy. But so I was literally at this place or this area because it was kind of like a strip kind of thing going on. So it was the place, the Hertz rental place, plus like a bunch of restaurants. So I ended up going to this cafe and I sat there for probably 3 hours in total. So no one could help me. My sister, she went to school here last year, so she knows a lot of people, but none of them could help me. All of them were busy because she's only friends with athletes and they were all in practice, I guess. And so no one could help me. And it's probably my plane landed at 10 or 11 a.m. I can't check into my hotel till 4 p.m. So I ended up calling my hotel like, hey, it was around like probably 12 or 1. Hey, I was wondering if I could check in early. And they're like, yeah, if it's before 3 o'clock, it's a $25 fee. I'm like, that's fine. And then I hang up and I call back because the hotel said that you had to be 21 years old to check in. And my sister was like, they always say that, but like it doesn't really matter, like they don't really care. But I just wanted to make sure, okay? So I called them back from a different number. My number is private anyway, just for this weekend. It was an accident, but all my numbers were private for this weekend. So I called back and I was like, hey, I was wondering how old you had to be to check in. And they said 21. And your name had to match the check-in date and it had to match your payment. I'm 19, okay? And I had a fake ID, but my fake ID doesn't match any of my payments, anything, which is the same problem I had with the car rental place. I had a fake ID, but it didn't match any of my cards, okay? Because my fake ID is my friend's sister. It's not me. And so for about 2 hours or an hour and a half or so, I ended up having to Photoshop. I had my mom send me her ID. I didn't tell her why. I had her send me her state ID, a picture of it, and I Photoshopped myself onto it. So what ended up happening was Alexis, had to authorize my sister, who we're gonna say, according to my fake ID, my name was Kayla. I had to authorize Kayla, who was 21, to be able to check in and use my credit card, which is in my name, which is in Alexis's name. But Alexa had to be 21 as well.
Sorry, I'm having trouble understanding right now.
Bruh.
Please try a little later.
The problem with Alexa is it's my name, so it'd be mixing up. Anyway, I had to be 21. Alexis had to be 21. So I Photoshopped Alexis onto my mom's state ID so that I was actually Alexis's how.
Sorry, I'm having trouble understanding right now.
Alexis is however old my mom is. It was like 30-some, late 30s, early 40s. I had to authorize my little sister, who's 21, Kayla, to be able to check in. So that took forever because I had to Photoshop myself and I had to send this authorization form in or whatever. But it got done and I ended up Ubering another $40 to my hotel room, which is super nice. It's like a spa place. It's on the west side of Orlando. It's in the Disney area. It's super nice, but I ended up finally getting here. Still no car. And I was really salty. I ended up having to literally negotiate out of my friend, one who's like an hour out. I ended up having to freaking negotiate him to help. Like, can you please, I'll give you gas money. Just come down tomorrow. He's 20 years old. I just need to put the rental in your name. It's already paid for. The deposit's gonna be in your name, but I'll give you the deposit money. And you don't have to pay me back because the deposit gets refunded, okay? He said yes, okay? I'm not gonna get into the crucial details of what he was on, but he was on some BS, okay? He asked me, should I say it? He asked me to have a threesome, okay? And let me tell you the worst part. I've known him for over a year, and I'm like, okay, so he's fucking someone else, and he wants to fuck me at the same time as he's fucking her. I've had run-ins with his exes before because, like, we kind of have, I wouldn't say long history, but I've known him for a year, you feel me? I'm like, okay, which one of his hoes is he trying to fuck at the same time as me? I'm like, no. He's like, you're not even freaky for real. I'm like, okay, whatever. Who with? This is the kicker, y'all. He gonna say one of my niggas. guys, niggas, a man, another man. My heart literally shattered into probably 1,000 pieces, okay? I know what that means, you feel me? And this is not shading anyone who does do that, who does like threesomes with 2 niggas, okay? And I'm like, okay, if you're trying to share me with another nigga, you don't want to be with me, obviously. Obviously. I was pretty salty about it, but the thing is I still needed him to get my rental. So I was like, no. Calmly and very politely. As polite as I could have been in this situation, okay? And then he calls me probably, after I sent this to my girl group chat, he calls me like 10 minutes later. I'm in the shower. He's like, hey, like, where are you staying? And I'm like, Orlando. Why? He's like, where's your hotel at? And I'm like, why? And he's like, oh, I'm gonna come see you. And I was just like looking at him, and then all his friends who are in the fucking background are like, oh, she heard that, bitch, who said I want you to come see me? That's why the fuck I was looking at the camera, looking at the, talking about, oh, she heard that. Like, boy, ain't no one thirsty for you. I'm like, are you coming alone? Because remember, about 10 minutes ago, he asked me to have a threesome with one of his niggas. I'm like, are you coming alone? He's like, no, if I'm coming up here, I'm gonna bring my friends. And he names all his friends who I know them mostly. And he's like, we're just gonna get some bottles and chill. They're gonna go see some other hoes, but we're just gonna chill. So this is my thought process. Number 1, if you're bringing your friends up here, you're not staying the night because they have to go home. Number 2, this nigga, he don't even drink. He told me he doesn't drink. We've gone on trips before. He doesn't like to drink. So what are you getting bottles for exactly? That's what I'm trying to figure out. What are you getting bottles for? You don't drink, okay? And then you're bringing all these other people in the mix. It just gave me really bad vibes. So when he said that, I was like, hold on, my mom's calling me. And I got off the phone and I called my girls and I was like, y'all, what should I do? What should I do? And they're like, girl, fuck him. Fuck that nigga, block him. Go home. I'm like, guys, I need him for my rental, okay? So what I ended up telling this man was, hey, like, I'm already in the shower. Like, if you were coming, I'd rather you come alone. I would rather you came alone. And he obviously didn't come. So, because obviously he didn't want to come alone. And he was on it for some bullshit, bro. He was trying to do some bullshit. And I don't rock that way. Not that there's anything wrong with rocking that way. I just personally, I don't want to do that. And he's broke, okay? But we'll get to that part later. So I go to sleep or whatever. I wake up the next day and I talked to him before and he said that like he's gonna help me, like he's gonna still do it even though I didn't fuck his friend. And yeah. So the next day I texted him because he had, I guess, a scrimmage or whatever, fake game. He had a fake game or whatever in the morning, but he would be done around 11. So I texted him. The thing is, I texted him around 11, but he didn't text me back. And I'm like, okay, whatever. He's playing, I guess. But the thing is, I was posting on my stories and stuff, and his friends were watching it who are on the same team as him. So I'm like, okay, this nigga's trying to play. I called him, he didn't answer. He texted him, he didn't answer. He finally texted me back around like 1 o'clock, and he's like, yo, like, I can come up here, whatever, but I need gas money. I'm like, okay, Brokey, I can give you gas money, I guess. And the thing is, I was really pushing it, you feel me? I don't fuck with niggas that I have to give gas money to. I don't do that, you feel me? But I need this nigga. I need him to come fucking get this car in my name, okay? So I sent him the money. Actually, let me backtrack a little bit. I was actually on Tinder all night trying to find someone else who was at least 20 years old who I could simp out, who would give me the car in their name. I already paid for it, you feel me? It sounds like a scam, but it's like I already paid for it. I'm gonna send you the money. The only thing is it's in your name. So you gotta trust me, but overall you're really not losing anything by helping me. And I'm cute, so help me out, okay? I found one person and they were like, okay. Well, I found plenty of people, but this person was the least weird. And he's like, just call them and make sure they're open and we can go do this. So I called them and it was like 11 something and they closed at noon, okay? So even though this whole this transaction with the car ended up being non-refundable, I was able to just get a refund minus the cancellation fee was like $80. So I texted him, not the guy who's helping me, my friend from an hour away. I texted him like, hey, you don't have to help me with the car, but I do still kind of want to see you. So, and he was like, okay, that's fine. Just send me the gas money. I sent him like $20 or whatever. And he was like, this is what he said to me. He said, And we're getting to it as soon as I get there, so be ready. I'm like, I texted him like, you can take me to the mall first. Like, what the fuck? And he was like, I have to leave at 4:30. Mind you, it's 1, which means he's gonna be here around 2 because it's an hour difference. And with there being an hour difference, if he has to be home by 4, he has to leave at 3. That leaves me an hour with this man. I said, so you're just gonna come for an hour? He was like, that's what I was planning on. I'm like, okay. I was like, so am I gonna see you again, or do I have to pay for your time again? And he was like, you can come down here. And I'm like, okay. I said, okay. Even though I didn't really, that's a ghetto. I'm not about to stay in your dorm. I don't want to fucking stay in your dorm. But I said something like, okay, like, I don't remember what I said. I said, you're gonna come get me or something. And he was like, oh, my friend has, one of my niggas has 2 beds in their dorm. You could stay with him. I'm like, bro, I'm not staying with you. Mind you, okay, I forgot to mention this part. I booked my room that I'm in right now till Monday morning by accident. It was totally accident, but he said I could stay with him my last day because my flight doesn't leave till Tuesday evening, and he said I could stay with him my last day. So I'm like, you want me to stay with your friend? I ended up calling him. I'm like, I can't stay with you. He's like, no, you can't stay with me. You can stay with my friend. He has 2 beds in his room. I was like, why can't I stay with you? He's like, you know why you can't stay with me. I'm like, you really have a girlfriend? Because I always make jokes about him having a girlfriend, but I didn't think he actually had a girlfriend. I was like, you got a girlfriend? He said, no, I'm talking to someone. So you have a girlfriend. Because why else would you like, what? Listen, y'all, I'm keeping it together right now, but when he told me this, I was in a restaurant. It was like Miller's Ailers. I was in some nice restaurant, okay? I had a margarita. And my heart, it broke again. I'm like, wow, like he got a little girlfriend. He's trying to pick and choose now. And I just said, I was on the phone with him. I said, I was silent for a second, and I was like, just send me that money back. You don't gotta come and see me, okay? And he was like, okay, I don't know why, but okay. And I hung up on him. Mind you, this nigga never sent me my money back, okay? Obviously, the nigga needed it more than me. I ended up texting him like, hey, obviously you need the money. If you need the money, you can keep it, but you're a piece of shit, and I only didn't turn up on you last night because I needed your help, but fuck you. No beef, but fuck you. And that was the end of that portion of my trip. And ever since then, it's literally been just uphill. It's been amazing. I've had such an amazing trip. I've been drinking margaritas by the pool. It's honestly been so freaking great. Like, I'm so glad that I came. I remember after he told me that, I texted my sister, like, I changed my flight as well because I can't stay with him my last day. So I ended up changing it to Monday morning, which is tomorrow. So I could leave a little early so I didn't have to change with him. I mean, I'd have to like stay with him or whatever, or his friend, whoever. And it was just an amazing trip. So yesterday, I'm trying to think what I've done so much so far. I was reading, I did a lot of reading, I did a lot of sleeping, I did a lot of swimming, I drank by the pool. Today, actually earlier, I walked to Disney Springs. It was about a 15-minute. Never been to Disney Springs. I would say it's like Disney World, but much smaller. And it's also free entry. So it's like lots of shops. It's kind of like Kings Island. If you're from Ohio, it's like Kings Island, except minus the rides. It's like lots of shops and restaurants and experiences, and it's so great. Give me a second because I just actually ordered food and I think it's here. So give me one moment. Y'all don't even know what the fuck I just went through trying to get my food. My DoorDasher couldn't speak English. He kept going to the wrong place. But anyway, Disney Springs was amazing. I ate. I had a bunch of food. Well, not a bunch of food. I got this like plant-based hot dog. It was super good. It was really good. It had sauerkraut and mustard on it. I got it all over my pants or whatever. And then I bought, let me show you what I bought. Look what I got. These are freaking huge. Okay, let me tell you something. The original, I also got a mask, which was $10. It was like a Lilo and Stitch mask. This was, let me show you the price. Let me show you the price if I can find it. Oh, here it goes. $69.99. Okay. This was $26.99. So when I had bought when I was picking these things out, this was the first thing that caught my eye. And I really wanted it. It was $70 and I really wanted it. But then I saw these little Winnie the Pooh stuffed animals, and it was 2 for $30 each. And I'm like, okay, should I get this for $70 or should I get 2 of those for $60 and give one to my sister? And my sister, I called her and she said she wanted one of these. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get 1 and 1. I'm just gonna cash out and get like 100. I mean, I guess it only would have been like 120 plus tax with it. I ring this shit up. I don't know if she was doing me a favor or what. This shit, she only rang this up. She fucking forgot the mask and forgot this. I don't know if it was on purpose. I was like waiting. I was like waiting for her to check it all out. She's like, yep, this is it. This is it. And then bagged all of it up, but only had scanned this. Girl, I got a deal. So yeah, look how cute these are. So freaking cute. But yeah, Disney Springs was amazing. It was like a 10-minute walk. I walked over a lake. It was just really nice. And then I spent the rest of the day at the pool. It was so freaking nice. This was an amazing trip. I think what I learned overall is you have to take yourself on your own trips. Or with your girlfriends, whatever, but don't be dependent on no nigga for a trip. Cause you gotta be able to cash out on yourself, spoil yourself, treat yourself to a great time, have a great time on your own. So your expectations aren't like, I don't know, low, I don't know, but you should know how to make yourself happy. Not no nigga taking you on no trip, not no dustball ass nigga, no. Okay, side note, why when I was getting my food, I was texting my friends, this nigga, the one who was texting me, you know what, it don't even matter, but all I'm gonna say is I'm glad that I'm not getting posted by a nigga who was trying to fuck on an IG model. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say, okay? Bitches is really getting posted and cheated on Valentine's Day. Not me though, be easy. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If there's anything you take from this video, it's that you should definitely travel alone. It was an amazing experience. I had an amazing time. And thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have nothing else to do on this Valentine's Day or the day after, whatever day I post this, go binge watch my other videos. Thank you so much for supporting, and go show me some love on Instagram, where I have been taking hella personal photo shoots by myself in this hotel room with no help. So go show some love. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.